This is Teamwayfinder, interviewing Chuck Huber, the voice of Austria in Italia, Jolly in Arcana Famiglia, Ash from Black Butler, and from the mega-popular Dragon Ball Z.
Android 17, and I'm going to kill you.
It's great to have you on the show.
Oh, thanks for having me.
So, first question. How did you get into voice acting?
I was doing an improv show with some friends we started in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and a buddy of mine named Brad Jackson said, hey, they're doing auditions for this Dragon Ball Z show over at this bank building in North Richland Hills. You should go audition. And I was like, dude, that totally sounds like a scam. And he was like, no, seriously, here's the number of this guy named Chris. And it was Chris Sabat. And he said, set up an audition. And so I set up an audition. And, and the day of the audition came around. And it was one of those days where, like, I had a flat tire and had to put the donut on, and like the gas bill or the electric bill went through, and, like my account was overdrawn, and like I barely had enough gas money. And like, it was one of those days where it was really, really hard. I just wanted to not do anything, but I had this audition scheduled and I almost didn't go. And, at the last second, something inside, my brain said, you should go do this audition. So I pushed myself to get there. And, I walked in, and it was at this bank building, and I was from Chicago, and I wasn't, used to auditioning in places that weren't casting agencies. So I was like, this is strange. And, this bald dude came out, hey, I'm Chris Sabat, come on in here. And here's a picture of this Garlic Jr. See if you got a voice for this guy. And I, went, I'm going to push you into the dead zone. And he was like, that's great. And, pretty much from then on, I've been doing anime voice acting. But it was one of those things where I almost didn't do it.
And everything changed for the better, right?
Yeah, totally.
What's been some of your favorite characters to voice?
Hiei is probably one of my favorites because he's the one that introduced me to the fandom. And because I didn't even know that there was that much of a following for anime in America. And when I did Hiei, they were like, hey, we're going to send you to this convention. And I was like, what for? I'm going to pass out flyers. Watch my show, Yu Yu Hakusho. It's a really good show. And they're like, no, you're going to sign autographs. And I was like, you're crazy. No one's going to want my autograph. And we walked into the dealer's hall, or one of the rooms at Otakon in Baltimore. And there was a line like around the room, and we signed autographs for 4 hours, and I had no idea what was going on. The first 15 minutes, people coming up going, you're here, and like crying. And I was like, what's going, I didn't understand what was happening. I truly was confused for like the first 15 minutes. I did not know what was going on. And then I finally kind of settled in, and I was like, oh, I get it. These are just like my friends from high school. And, then after about 4 hours of that, I was totally hooked. And now doing the conventions is probably one of my favorite things about the whole anime industry.
So what was it like recording for Italia?
Oh, Italia was a lot of fun. Austria's one of my favorite characters. He's a very crazy his voice is really fun to do because I have to, and you'll forgive me, I'm a little tired right now. We just flew into Perth, which is on the other side of Australia from Sydney, and because we're doing Supernova for the Star Trek Continues. Mm-hmm. So I literally just got off a plane and then went to dinner and just got back from dinner. So my voice is a little shredded right now. But Hetalia, my favorite part about Hetalia was writing it with Jamie Markey, because we were given such free reign to sort of make whatever jokes we wanted to make. And I remember when they premiered the first episode, I think it was at Otakon too, where they premiered it. I guess they hadn't previewed the episode. And so like one of the very first jokes that was in the episode was Italy comes up to Germany and goes, here, I got you a present. And Germany goes, what is it? Another Jew? And yeah, I know. So and everybody after that we got called into a meeting with the head writer John Bergmar, and he was like, okay guys, any jokes that are over the line need to make sure there's some alternate lines that you. But so Jamie and I, Marky and I had a lot of fun writing that show. It was really a lot of fun to, for the longest time we were searching for like a dolphin sandwich joke for Japan, just trying to find during the annual dolphin hunt that they have or whatever.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, but it was a great show to participate in. Great show to write.
Android 17 was probably like really a strange way to get into the industry, huh?
Yeah, I started with Garlic Jr., which was really hard on my voice. I'm gonna, it was real charactery, and then we got to Android 17, and Chris Sabat was just like, just relax, man. Just do less. And I kept, making my voice calmer and sort of more relaxed, and until it was just, I'm going to kill all the humans. Humans are still, I got to be just kind of glib and chill. I call it my voice acting vacation because I really didn't have to work very hard at all for Android 17. And it's funny because a lot of times as an actor, you think you have to work really hard to make things good. And Android 17 is one of the most popular things I've done. And I really didn't have to work very hard at all, which is sort of one of those odd quirks about art or acting, is that sometimes the less work it feels like you're doing, the better the character is. Funny stories from the booth. It's not usually, it's interesting because the booth is a pretty serious place because there's a time constraint. We tend to goof around a lot in between takes to kind of keep the energy up. And I know, like during Shin-Chan, because I played Hero in Shin-Chan, there's the manly dance of brotherhood. To be a man, you must have honor, and a penis. And it was not originally written that way. And whatever was written first, I was like, that's not what it is to be a man. To be a man, you have to have honor. And the engineer, Peter Hawkinson, says, and a penis. And we're like, oh, let's do that. Let's make that the song. So, there was some sort of improv-y type things that we got to do with that.
What are some tips you have for up-and-coming voice actors?
The industry's totally changed. I mean, if you want to be a straight-up anime voice actor, the best way to do it is to move to Dallas or LA and just become an actor. And anime is part of that industry. Anime and video games are part of both of those industries. So, if you pursue it long enough and hard enough, eventually you'll be doing that. That's one of the things that actors around the DFW area say, is that everybody eventually works at Funimation. It may not happen right away, but if you pursue it consistently, eventually you will. But if you're in the middle of Canada now, thousands of miles away from the industry, you can become a legit voice actor, because we have fans come up to the table all the time and say, I want to be a voice actor. And you go, great, we'll go do it. Because, with YouTube and sort of fan projects or fan genre projects, as soon as you take that step out and say, I'm going to create this thing I love and add my voice to it, the DBZ Abridged guys are a great example of that. They took something they loved and turned it into, their jobs, because you have access to the whole niche, the whole market, all your friends and all the people who go to conventions. If you turn out a product that you love and that you would do without, you would do it without anyone paying you or cheering you on, you do it just because it was fun, just like the DBZ Abridged guys do, then you're going to be able to succeed in the industry in a way that you couldn't, even just 10 years ago. So that, you can create your own, web series. You can create just your own little meme. You can take a picture of a hat and, think of what the funny voice the hat would have and put it up on YouTube. That's a really poor example, but you have the opportunity, if you love something and you can figure out a way to share it with the fandom, and they see how much you love it, and you treat it well and share it with them, then eventually you're going to be successful at it. So you can come at voice acting from a whole different way now than you could before. You can make your voice be heard and tell stories you want to tell, and just create your own sort of product that you want to share with people at conventions or people online.
And last question.
Sure.
What do you prefer? Do you prefer voice acting for anime, matching lip flaps, or do you prefer more of a game where it's not quite as strict?
It always depends on the property. Like, working on Borderlands 2 was probably one of my favorite experiences because the writing was so excellent and so much fun to play around with. And because Anthony, the writer, knew all of us as we were writing or as we were recording, he would give us free rein to sort of improv in and around what we were doing and add our own sort of take on things. But definitely when you get into, like Full Metal Alchemist, or you get into some property, Attack on Titan, that's really well loved, you definitely can sense the sort of spirit that's behind it, and you're excited to go in the booth every day. Not that you're not excited to work on other anime properties, but they, when there's a special property, you're more excited to hop in the booth for it. So it really depends on the property. The video games tend to shred your voice a whole lot more than the anime properties do, but they're both really fun. There's really, that's like saying, what do you like better, ice cream or a different flavor of ice cream? It's like, well, if my choice is this ice cream or this ice cream, I may be able to tell you which one I like. But if the choice is ice cream or no ice cream, I'm going to pick ice cream.
All right. Any final thoughts?
Love, peace, and harmony all over the world. And Australia is awesome.
It's been great having you on the show.
All right. Thanks for having me.